just read before we do our full swing. This is some of the highlights. So uh, Daniel Redmond is Dan in DC. For those of you who are Rome fans, always in the smack off, and just a really funny guy, and writes for Breitbart. And I know Breitbart. People think of as conservative, right wing, and some people may be turned off because of that, and I understand that. But he's writing about golf. He's not writing about he's not writing about you know uh, January 11th or something like that. Um, but he starts this article. He's previewing the players, and some of the things he said I thought were great. There is still a form of professional golf available for you to watch on television or attend in person. But Live Golf is really screwing over golf fans. Live is a joke league that is filled with greedy weirdos. It should be scorned by decent people. John Rahm leaving the Live and $300 million only confirmed what I already knew about him. Total weasel. Rory McIlroy has tried to bridge the gap between Live barbarism and the PGA Tour civilization by saying he's been too hard on players who took the easy money and split for Live. Uh, he goes on. He goes, I think it is incumbent on real golf fans to mock the players who left for Live. It doesn't have to be heckling or anything of that sort. But when you see Phil Mickelson at the players scream out, "Go High Flyers," which fills the Live golf team, whatever that means. If you say it loud enough, everyone will know you are being sarcastic because there is no person on earth that actually roots for a Live golf team because, again, the league is a joke and nobody authentically watches. Go High Flyers. It's perfect. Just do it. Isn't that great?
That is great. That is so good. And we'll talk about it. We'll talk about the full swing. I mean, how Rory, like, I didn't realize Rory had played with Brooks at Masters, a practice round. After the interview, he goes, "Oh, I'm going to go play around with Rory with Brooks." It's interesting.
So he goes on. He goes, "How ridiculous is Live Golf? Check out the highlights. There are 9 golf fans in the gallery. That is true. There's no one except on like one hole. That's no exaggeration. Their bell cow John Rahm was playing on the final day in Dubai, and there were more cameramen and production people than fans. They also just gave Anthony Kim, who hasn't been relevant in over a decade, over $30 million to play in their joke league. He doesn't even have to win to get it, just play. It's a good thing because he's terrible. There are probably 5,000 golfers in the world better than Anthony Kim. So
I
Live
could
sign
probably
him."
beat him.
Um, uh, let's see. What else he say? This league should be shunned by all decent people. Shun anyone who talks about Live. John Rahm got $300 million. I haven't heard of any significant donation of funds. People forget that the PGA Tour is one of the most charitable organizations in the world. And then he talks about the 17th hole Island Green is one of the most fun spectacles in the sport. Many golfers come to the 17th only to see them have their hopes splashed in the pond. Ask Sergio Garcia. And I know that Dan is a Rome guy, so I wrote to him. I said I wish Sergio was still playing, just so that Jim Rome could keep calling him Submergio. Do you remember Jim Rome calling him Submergio?
I love it. I love it.
Um, anyway,
I wondered did John Rahm buy a house over there so he didn't have to pay any taxes on that money?
I don't know.
You think he had residence over there? Probably, right?
Probably.
Yeah.
Let's see. He finally goes. He likes Scotty Scheffler. He said Scotty Scheffler dominated and won the Arnold Palmer. Is by far the best player in the game and is a really cool guy as well. It's possible the coolest guy on tour is also the best player. That's also true in a lot of other sports. Nikola Jokic is very cool and the best player in the NBA. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, pretty cool. Shohei Ohtani, all seem like cool guys you'd want to hang out with. It didn't used to be that way. Tom Brady is a grifter who, even in retirement, is still trying to scrounge every dollar from the American public. LeBron is a miserable person. Alex Rodriguez was vain and odd.
He said LeBron is miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah, LeBron.
He's kind of insufferable. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got his fine.
But anyway,
like the next his wife of his is supposed to girlfriend.
Follow Dan in DC on X, and if when he posts his articles, read them. Even if you're not a hardcore conservative, if you don't want to read Breitbart, for the political commentary, it has nothing to do. I mean, for instance, you would think that Breitbart would be pro-live, right? Because Donald Trump is pro-live. But obviously, obviously, Dan is not pro live, and we'll forgive him for blowing us off at the Ryder Cup when he was supposed to come on with us. But maybe the next time.
Yeah, Dan, give
Uh,
you. I'll
uh,
maybe start following you on that.
yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about Full Swing before we go. So last year, Full Swing, the episodes were really personality based, right? They picked one golfer, sometimes two for an episode, and they just kind of followed them. And they went very slowly across the kind of the golfing year, right? Uh, the first episode I thought was their worst episode last year. It was Jordan Spieth and Justin Thomas, and it really came off as two, frat boys,
Yeah, two
kind of
privileged
privileged.
country club guys, which Brooks Koepka says that's why he doesn't like them because that's how they are.
And it would have
Yeah,
been it would have been better if they had waited and spent a year following Justin Thomas when he had this terrible year,
yeah,
right? That would have been more interesting. Although
I
I guess,
agree.
although no,
Totally.
well, I guess that's wrong because that year was based upon the year before when Justin Thomas won the PGA and had a pretty good year. So maybe they
Yeah,
will follow him this year. Um, maybe they will follow him this year. Because last year he was off form and played very poorly and clearly was frustrated, but still made the Ryder Cup team. You know, hmm.
that's
Anyway,
a gift pick. He got gifted a pick.
he got gifted a pick, and apparently that's going to come out. Apparently, that's I saw a tweet saying that the fact that he was gifted a pick is going to come out. That it's going to that the Ryder Cup episodes are really going to kind of vindicate Keegan Bradley, which I
Yeah,
think
Keegan Bradley definitely should have made gotten that pick, right?
they definitely. And he said he thinks in the first one, the one we just watched, Keegan Bradley, his one quote was he thinks about the Ryder Cup every day.
Yeah, amazing.
But
Wow.
anyway, but last year the first episode was a snoozer, and a lot of the other episodes were quite good. I mean, I don't know. My favorite episode was the Joel Damon episode. I don't know about
Uh,
yours.
Segala was my favorite one.
Segala was a good episode too. Young guy. It was Segala and Mito Pereira, right? Two young guys, you know, establishing on tour. Those were good episodes. Well, this year it seems like they did it a little differently. It was more. The first episode was more. The two kind of stars of the episode were Rory and Brooks Koepka, but it
Yeah,
was more about the live PGA dichotomy and schism. But I just thought they did a very poor job with uh, with the not kind of downplaying the emotion of it. In other words, as Dan wrote, live is flawed. Live is wrong. It's just wrong. And they didn't portray it as so. In fact, Brooks Koepka was on Jake Paul's podcast and just laughing about how much money he got. And I thought they could have done uh, a much better job, kind of supporting the PGA. Maybe they wouldn't have gotten any of the live golfers to participate, and
yeah.
but I just thought they did
I mean,
far
it
too.
really was.
I thought they did
Yeah,
far too superficial a job. Maybe that's the right
I
word.
think so too. And you're right. You nailed it. When he was on the interview with those dudes, I mean, they just bragged about the money. Then when they were sitting at the PGA dinner, I mean, literally, there's two live guys in there with the PGA guys, and that's and he thanked Rory for or Justin for inviting them, talking. I think you're right, Rich. I mean, it shed a lot of light on these live guys. It gives them too much. And then they went down to when he won the PGA, the Masters, how he played. I mean, it's all about Brooks Koepka and live. Like he had two dedicated, like as a live guy, had two dedicated episodes, right? Don't you think?
Yeah, and I don't know. And they also just seem to go too far. I mean, they've already made it through two majors. One
I
episode,
know.
and they're already through two majors. Last year
I-
they didn't do that. They didn't jump and jump and jump. They took their time. Maybe because it
It's
was a Ryder.
interesting.
Yeah, maybe because it
Yeah.
was a Ryder Cup year. But I I just
You're
didn't.
right. They jumped the shark, so to speak, because if you really think about it, they're already So it first started off with Rory being interviewed about Liv, right? So I thought this episode was going to really hit on the Liv players, what Rory's feeling, what's happening. They kind of got into that, right? How he didn't want to lose another. Now Brooks has more majors than him. That got to him, but he's playing around with Brooksy, and then they go into the Jenna. They go into all these things, Liv, and they really didn't get to the crux of things. They're all going to meet. They want, the Liv guys want to come back. They want to get this thing going, and I don't know. It took a lot of turns, right? That episode.
I thought the best part of it was just like some of the best parts last year were talking to struggling golfers. I thought one of the best parts last year was when Brooks Koepka, before he joined Liv, he hadn't joined Liv yet, was talking about how difficult it was for him to be struggling while his gold digging wife was like
Oh,
cackling about all the
outfit.
expensive outfits she owned. And she's trying to
I mean,
get him
she's
in.
kind of an interesting girl.
She now I'm glad she was the only wife, I think, who appeared on this episode, and she still looked like
Well, Paulina said something. Paulina, they had a good. Paulina said something.
I
How hard they work. How hard it is. Oh, I've been on the road, and then they show up. Oh, been on the road hard back to back, and then the guys take off on then a private jet takes off. Then
yeah.
you're like, okay, that's not believable.
But yeah, but Jenna Sims still looks like a gold digging witch. I mean, she really
She's
does.
a money grubbing girl, man. I mean,
I don't even think she's that pretty, to be honest. I mean, Paulina Gretzky is
I don't think
beautiful.
so either.
I think she
Yeah,
looks very plastic. You know who she?
she does.
You know who it reminded me of? Did you ever see the movie Mean Girls?
I know. I never saw
You
that
never
movie.
saw,
No.
yeah, you never saw Mean Girls. So, there's a nice girl who comes to a high school in California after living in Africa, and she's pretty, but she's naive, and she falls in with a bunch of popular girls, basically originally to make fun of them, but she gets kind of sucked into their world, and the leader of the Mean Girls is named Regina George, and she's like a stuck up princess. And when I watch these episodes, I think Jenna Sims is the Regina George of the PGA Tour, a stuck-up princess, and she's not even that pretty.
And she's not in that footy. And I wonder, yeah, I don't get it. But those two kind of belong together. I bet they're similar. I'm sure that's why they're together.
But anyway, so yeah, so they go from Rory to Brooks, and the crux of the show was Rory and Brooks, and it
Yeah.
just got uninteresting.
Like Brooks is a spokesperson for Liv, and Rory's a spokesperson for the PGA Tour. And now we're trying to get these guys. They kind of know each other. They're kind of friendly, but we're trying to get this deal together. That's kind of where it is,
I
Yeah,
wonder if the fact that they were playing a practice round was somehow orchestrated, because I've never thought
it
that
sounds like it.
Brooks Koepka and Rory McIlroy were good friends.
And then after he won, he goes, Rory went over to congratulate him, and he goes, "I'll call you later." Did you see that part? He goes,
Yeah,
"I'll call you later."
it looked
Yeah,
so fake.
all fake.
I mean, I know
So
that like Rory, we know Rory's good friends with Shane Lowry. We know that Rory's good friends with Tony Finau. Uh, but no one's ever said Rory was good friends with Brooks Koepka.
yeah, absolutely not.
I mean, when they came on tour, Brooks Koepka and DJ used to hang out because I don't think they're very
Until the
likable
fight on the plane, right?
until the fight on the plane with the Ryder
Yeah.
Cup in Paris.
I wonder what those dudes are fighting about.
I I have no idea.
Girlfriends are pretty.
No, yeah, I don't know. You said that DJ's fat now. We'll see him
Oh,
at
he
the.
is.
I'll see
Yeah,
him at the Masters. That would be funny. I can't imagine DJ being fat.
yeah, he is. Yeah, that's right. Because you're not gonna go. You're not gonna try to find the ace of spades or the high flyers, huh?
The high flyers. That is funny to yell at Phil instead of saying to Phil Mickelson, "Damn you for joining Live." You yell out, "Go high flyers."
Yo, high flyers.
Did you
Yeah, it
see?
was an interesting episode. I can't wait for the next ones. I gotta
I think they're going to
start
get.
looking.
I hope they're going to get better. I do hope they're going to get better because this was not compelling in the least.